Seaside. My name is Rebecca. I'm helping fill in for Fran today. I want to say good morning to everyone. And please join me in the congressional song this morning. Thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm happy, so happy. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm happy, so happy. I trust in God. I'm loving, so loving. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm loving, so loving. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in
Hello, Seaside. I'm Reverend Tammy Mars. It's my joy to be with you here today. I'm actually the Associate Minister, Executive Director here at Seaside. Reverend Christian Sorensen is our Senior Minister, and he is actually on a vacation, which is a very nice opportunity for him to be filled back up. He's in Costa Rica. So I have the honor of being with you here today and walking this spiritual path together, remembering some truth, enhancing our worlds, raising our energy, accepting our blessings. That's what we're here about today. So I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad to be here with you. I want to introduce something new. You know, Seaside on the last Sunday of every month, we are introducing a more reverential service. And that happens to be today. So on that day, the last Sunday, we've always had our wall of prayer, which means our practitioners are up here available for you at the end of the service for prayer. And then we also will be no announcements. We're going to be having the service be a little more prayerful, music a little gentler and a little slower, more of an opportunity for you to have inner time. And so then we have the variety. We have a little bit of both here at Seaside. So we'll be doing that today. So I just invite you to sit back, open your heart, your mind, your soul. Allow the Spirit to touch you in its own beautiful way, and allow it just to expand out from you also. So to get us started, I'd like to call our practitioner, Tim Griffin, forward as he takes us into the stillness and opens us with prayer.
I invite you to go into the stillness in this present moment with each sound of our sacred bowl. Go deeper and deeper into stillness. I know and I believe that there is only one living Spirit Almighty, and this one manifests itself in, through, and as everything in the universe. As such, I know that I am one with this beautiful living Spirit Almighty. And I know this truth for myself, as well as everyone else in this room, is also one with this loving, living Spirit Almighty. As we come into this presence moment, this presence, I know and I realize that this is a wonderful time to be alive. In this consciousness, awareness of this beautiful divinity that lives within each of us. I am truly thankful for this beautiful message that comes forward in the music that we listen to, and the message from Sharon de Leon and from Reverend Tammy Mars. I know that each of us come forward with an open mind to embrace, to hold within the message to come. I'm thankful for this moment in time, and so it is.
God is great. God is magnificent. God is love. God is true. I am great. I am magnificent. I am love. I am true. We are great. We are magnificent. We are love. We are true.
How beautiful. Thank you. My name is Sharon de Leon, and I'm a master practitioner here at Seaside. And so I just welcome you, and a very warm and special welcome to anybody who's here for the first time. And just wanting to let you know that there is a welcome packet for you back at our Welcome Center, if you haven't already picked one up, and there's some special things in there for you, so you can learn a little bit more about us. In preparing for Tammy's talk today, her message of living in the presence, I chose a reading from Joel Goldsmith's Living Between Two Worlds. Spiritual discernment reveals that which is. Just as intelligence enables us to ride without fear on a train because we know that the tracks do not come together in the distance, just as it is now possible to take a ship beyond the horizon because we have heard we have learned that there is no horizon in spite of appearances. So as our spiritual faculties are enlarged, enriched, and deepened, we will discover that every aspect of limitation begins to disappear. Gradually, as we learn not to judge by appearances, but are still for a moment and let the Spirit of God bear witness, we will discern spiritually and we will see as God sees. Any time that we are confronted with appearances that we do not understand, we must stop for a moment, pause, close our eyes if possible, and be receptive as if we are listening. Then, in place of the sick or the sinning person, we will hear the voice say, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Neither do I condemn him," and neither will we. The ability to move from the world of material sense into the world of spiritual discernment is proportionate to our ability to close our eyes to the appearance and wait for the inner intuition, the voice of God, to reveal to us the truth of what we are beholding. In facing the temptation that there is an external power, let us go back instantly and realize that consciousness is the basic substance, cause, and law of all creation. All creation manifests the qualities, character, and nature of consciousness. Spiritual discernment demands that instead of judging and arriving at an opinion, we close our eyes to the appearance, open our ears, and let God bear witness with our spirit. Then the spiritual truth behind the appearance will be made evident to us. And so on these words of truth, I just invite you to close your eyes, to take a breath, and to just let go and let God. Let go of anything that it took to get to be here in this moment, this power of this present moment. To be present. And so it's from this place that I'm able to begin to remember. I'm able to begin to recognize that there is a power and a presence at the very center of my life, the very center of all of life, for it is life itself. This power, this presence loves and it gives and it creates from itself. And so I know that I am from it. I've been created from it. That the Father and I are one. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for each one here, that each one here is one with Spirit. That there is no separation. That no one is ever alone. And so it's from this place of oneness that I speak my word of truth, knowing that each one here has been called and has said yes. Has said yes to the revealing of the truth that is spoken here. And so I just know that each one here is loved, that each one here is guided, that each one here is supported in all the intentions that have been placed in their heart. And so I know that there is nothing here to do, nothing here to lean forward about, but to receive. For I know that it is God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. So everything that is needed, everything that is necessary has been given. And so I know the activity that takes place right here, right now, is an opening, an allowing to receive these gifts, to receive this good, to receive more love, more peace, more joy, more love, more beauty, more freedom, and more abundance than I have ever experienced before, knowing that there is nothing that can block that good. And so I'm grateful to know this truth, grateful to know that all is well. I simply receive the blessings of this day. And I release my word into the law, knowing that it is done and knowing that it is so. And so it is.
All right. Well, good morning. It is my honor to be able to introduce the guest artist today. Terry Wilder travels the country with her music and message as a singer, songwriter, speaker, and gong master. Her passion and intention is to open hearts and raise the vibration of our planet. She's also a voiceover talent. One interesting thing about Terry, she's the original voicemail voice on Sprint phones. Her CDs and spiritual bling jewelry are available at her table. Please welcome Terry Wilder.
You have one new message. But hopefully it's turned off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's your message. I had a single moment when the universe burst open, and I found that I was safe, and I couldn't turn away. All that I could ever be was shining right in front of me, and all that I am was right here in my hand. Here I am in the heart of my being, in a state of grace, and all is well, yeah, all is well. Here I am in this magical moment, and oh yeah, all is well. In the eyes of someone loving is a feeling overwhelming, and the giving into bliss like the soul's holy kiss. And everything surrounding me, the beauty of eternity, and everything's made of this never-ending love. Here I am in the heart of my being, in a state of grace, and all is well, yeah, all is well. Here I am in this magical moment, and oh yeah, all is well. Anytime I want, it will be, 'cause the magic is really me. It's all that is. Here I am in the heart of my being, in a state of grace, and all is well, yeah, all is well. Here I am in this magical moment, and oh yeah, all is well. Sing it with me. Here I am in the heart of my being, in a state of grace, and all is well, yeah, all is well. Here I am in this magical moment, and oh yeah, all is well. Sing that last line again. Oh yeah, all is well. One more time and stretch. Oh yeah, all is well. Oh yeah, all is well. Thank you.
That is Terry Wilder. Thank you. Well, hello, everyone. Happy summer to you. It's my joy to be here with you as we come together to remember. You know, there's a lot of information on this spiritual path, and sometimes we just forget. And so I just want to be with you and walk down this road with you today for a few minutes to remember together. Today, my title is called Living in the Presence. And I want to talk to you a little bit about making a transformation in life, or a healing, or a change. I'm sure that almost every single one of us have something or some area in our life that we would like to be expressing the divine a little bit more abundantly in. Whether it's more abundance, money, finances. Whether it's our body, the healing of our body and the wholeness of our body. Whether it's a relationship that we are wanting to call in or a relationship that we're wanting to improve. Or whether it's something simple like losing a few pounds or changing your eating habits or exercising more or something. So I really want to talk about that because, we have a very, very powerful teaching here. And the one core belief of this entire teaching is that it's already present and all things are possible. And I love the Abraham quote that says, okay, then where's my stuff? I've been doing this. Where is it? And it's so true, isn't it? There's always something you're like, well, I'm working this. Where is it? And I was reminded of a story. I had a friend recently tell me a wonderful story about her life. Recently, her life and her family's life had gotten pretty messed up. It was not in a good space. There was a lot of stuff going on. The family was having extreme difficulties. They were having health issues. They were having challenges with their children. They were having relationship issues, and it had been going this way for about 3 years. It was really seriously bad. And she's an editor. So she had got a job to be the editor and to work with one of the spiritual teachers in writing a book. And so she actually worked with this individual and had to read every single sentence. And when the author was being way too out there, had to ask for clarity and how can we say this so the everyday person recognizes it. And she, at this point, when I had spoken to her, had spent 250 hours just immersed in this spiritual truth, in this book, this mystical book that's being written. And she looked back, which is often the easiest way that we can see it. She looked back over this period of time and realized that her whole life had changed. That she had got the house of her dreams. That her relationship was better, that her kids were happy, that you could literally see in this individual that she was just so much lighter and joyful, and her friends were asking her about it. And it reminded me of something that's really important that I personally even have experienced, is that when we immerse ourselves in truth, when we immerse ourselves in it and we stay in it, deeply in it, that our life changes. It transforms. It's different. It's not like often taught in the psychology practice where you literally need to go back and relive it and figure out what was wrong and relook at it, which is often struggle and a lot of work and painful for us. But that literally, if we were to just immerse ourselves in our readings, immerse ourselves in services, immerse ourselves in classes, just immerse ourselves, what literally happens is that the vibration of who and what we are lifts. It changes, as the Bible says. It lifts us to the vibration of the Most High. And all of that stuff that isn't a match just simply falls away. Life just starts working. But it doesn't happen. I love the saying that someone says, you can't do one push-up and get big muscles. Right? I know for myself, and I see a friend of mine that was in prac class with me, I know for myself when I started this 20-something years ago, I would read Joel Goldsmith, which is my favorite author, which Sharon DeLeon read to you today. And I would just read it, and I would go, get in my head. It just wasn't working. I was just like, how do I just would read a word or a sentence, and it was so much for me to absorb, and I just stuck with it. And I remember looking back about 10 years down the road after that going, wow, look at my life. Look what it's reflecting. Look at the peace I have. And I saw that I had just become it in many, many ways. And so I know that this is true. And I'm working on little things myself, because our spiritual growth is infinite. It's infinite where we can go. It's infinite the amount of good that we can call in. So I'm working on it myself. And I was so glad that I got this opportunity to be with you today and to remind you, because I got the opportunity to remind me of how this works. There was a statement that I actually was watching an Oprah show. And she was talking to a mystic, some of you may have seen it, the Adiya Shanti. And the question was, and it hit me like this, it says, I got myself here, where I am. No matter what I'm experiencing, I got myself here. One thought at a time. Thought after thought after thought, after choice after choice, after thought after thought. And you think about that and it goes on. That's why I'm here. And that doesn't have judgment in it or anything at all. In fact, it has empowerment in it. Because if I could do that, I can shift my thought. And the question came to me was, how am I keeping this unwanted part of me, this unwanted experience? How am I keeping this alive? Meaning, what are the thoughts that I'm thinking? This is like the basics of this teaching, but it's like, oh my gosh, remind me. How am I keeping this alive in my experience? How do I keep feeding it? Because if it is here, I'm feeding it. I'm doing something over and over. Ernest Holmes says, cause always has effect. Cause meaning that seed, that's what we set in motion. Cause always demonstrates an effect. An effect, that which already is, always has a cause. So how am I feeding it, if you will? It was funny because I was listening to Joel Osteen. You know, I'm thinking, he's reading Ernest Holmes on the side. I know he is. Because he's just quoting this. Listen to this. Don't use your words to describe the situation. Use your words to change the situation. And I thought to myself, you know, how much am I waking up whining about this, that, or the other, wishing it was different, or describing it always, using my words to describe the situation, when I could be using my words if I were to immerse myself in truth, if I were to put my attention in the right place. We could be using our words to change the situation. It says, he went on to say, once you get a picture of it on the inside, then grace can bring it to pass on the outside. Like, Joel, go Ernie. You know? It's like, oh yeah, I remember. How have I been feeding it? What is that script that keeps on going in my head, you know? And it's like literally what we have to do is we have to train, and this is a training, we have to train our attention. Where are we putting our attention? That which we put our attention on expands. And some of it is stuff that we are doing ourselves, and some of it's kind of a collective that we're in. I just came back from a month, a beautiful trip, a trip of a lifetime, all through the Mediterranean. We were in 8 countries, 18 ports, and a number of cities. And it was absolutely magnificent. But any of you that have ever traveled, or you've even gone into someone else's home, you know that everywhere that you go, there's a different feeling tone. There's a different energy. And so in the Mediterranean, I really felt that because there was a big variance, and we were on cruises, so we were on ships, you know, and there's people from all over the world there. And you could really feel the energy tone and the energy between the different places that you arrived. I really felt it in one particular place in Turkey compared to like being a U.S. citizen and what we believe and who we are. Now, what's the difference? The difference is that we were born here, they were born there, and they were part of a vibration, an energy, a thought process from the time they were even conceived that came forth that was a certain frequency, a certain thought, a certain vibration, if you will. And so all of the things that they did, and it was so interesting to observe and to watch all of the habits, all the way, even the way Europeans hold their fork and knife and eat and do all kinds of things, everything is a learn. And so after particularly spending like a month away, when I came home, I really felt it myself. I felt that I had a whole set of habits and patterns that I just did that I was trying or finding myself back in. And I didn't have them while I was gone because I changed everything. So the question is that it's all what we have our attention, all that which we've set up. So the infinite is absolutely possible. You know, up until now, we didn't realize we had this power. One of the things that was prevalent throughout the Mediterranean, when I came home and looked it up, found out that it's in every single continent, that it started with the ancient Romans and the ancient Greeks, was this concept of an evil eye. In fact, I brought one. And literally, they were everywhere. They were on the buses that we were at. They were hanging from the mirror. They were literally glued to the front door of homes. They were absolutely on keychains. They were everywhere, all over the Mediterranean. And the concept of this is, and like I said, it is ancient, and it goes back. It's in every major religion. It's in our Bible. It's on every continent. And it goes back, literally, it's ancient. It goes back to the fact that someone, through their looks, or looking at you, or their feeling tones directed at you, could affect you. And we know that's true. You've had somebody angry at you, or mad at you, and it's changed your state or changed the way you feel or what you're doing. They look at this a lot from the concept of envy or jealousy, that somebody could harm your good. And like I said, it's very prevalent. It's still prevalent. It's everywhere there. But this thing, what they do to prevent it or to protect us is you have one of these in your home or on your keychain or wherever it is, and it absorbs all the negativity. It absorbs it. So it's not going to hit you. It's not going to get you. It's a nice belief that's adopted. It's done unto you as you believe. So that's absolutely perfect if it's going to give people peace or whatever it is. But in consciousness, what's happened is that we've evolved past that. We realize that nobody's thinking for us, nobody's in our experience for us, that we actually have the power. We actually are the creators of our experience. Nobody can come in and create it for us. That we have, through the power of our attention, we can create the life and the things that we want. In fact, the United States is one of the only major continents that doesn't use that. It's not prevalent everywhere. So it's interesting as we're raising in consciousness. The other thing that's extremely powerful, because there's one power and one presence, there's one truth. And even no matter what, and when you travel and you look at that, you see that the ancient Romans even had like some pretty advanced ways of doing things, from plumbing to all kinds of different things, even 2,000 we were places where up to 10,000 years before Christ. One of my favorite visits was this visit in Deliki, Turkey, and it was to Pergamon, and it's in that place was the very first hospital. And in this hospital, it's called Asclepion, and that's named after the Greek god Asclepios, which is the god of healing, right? So we got to visit these ruins, and how it starts is it's this really long avenue of pillars. It's called the Sacred Walk. So before you can even enter into this healing place, you have to take this sacred walk through these pillars, which is, transformational as you're going. And when you arrive at the entrance, there's a pillar which has symbols that are still used today. It has the two serpents, the snakes, which is still used in medicine today. And at that point, you do a prayer to the god, the healing god, Asclepios. And then listen to this. So from there, the very first thing they do is, first of all, the reason of this site is that there were sacred waters there. There's 3 sacred pools. And this water's still running today. This spring is still active today. And this was in 400 BC, before Christ, that this was founded. And they believed that this water had some healing aspects of it. They thought that possibly even that there was radioactivity even possibly in it, but they were having phenomenal results in healing. And then what ended up, so what they did was they took you into this, and the very first thing they did was they bathed you. They cleaned you. They took all your clothes off, all your jewelry off, all that off. They put you in white cotton, and they cleaned you. They cleansed you, which represents all kinds of things. Then the next thing they did was they took you over to this amphitheater, and they played soothing music and concerts, and they just relaxed you with the power of music, which we know that has. And so you just immersed yourself as you watched your energy calm. From there, they took you to this tunnel. It was this real long tunnel. And it was amazing. This tunnel you had to walk down into. And as you walk down into it, there's a stream, one of these live streams, which is still running today, that was the trickling of water as you walk down into this tunnel. So when you walked, that's what you heard, the calmness and the trickling of water. Once you were in this tunnel, and it was probably from here to the end of the building, about every 6 feet in the ceiling was an opening, one for ventilation and for air. But as you walk through this tunnel, at the very, very top were the priests, or the religious ones. And they would whisper to you, or they would talk to you as you walked from up above, your spiritual truth. That you are whole, that you are healing, that you are perfect, that you are loved, that you are peace. The truth of your being as you walked down this aisle. Now, this is the hospitals at that time. Once you got to the end of this hall, they had this healing circle, and they had these little rooms in it. And what they asked you to do was to focus and to go into prayer, asking the God of healing, Asclepios, for healing, and then they would ask you to take a nap. Go to sleep. Right? We know that one of the biggest problems we have is the resistance. So much more can happen when we rest and we lower our resistance of everything that's going on and all our brain going. Before the doctor would even see you, he had you do that. When you woke up, he asked you, all right, what were your dreams? And he would do kind of like a dream interpretation of what was really going on there on that. And then from there, he would prescribe things like herbs or whatever it was that he felt could enhance your body. Once you were complete with that, you went outside, laid on the ground on a big grass field, and sunbathed. Soaked up the earth, soaked up the sun, all the naturalness of it. No one ever died at this hospital. They didn't. No one ever died at this hospital. So look at the power of thought. Look at the power of what our world, even then they know in healing that we can get ourselves so ramped up, get our thoughts so sideways, get our thinking so sideways that we're not experiencing our healing. But the methodology for healing and wholeness is back to truth, back to calm, back to peace, back to no resistance, back to relaxing, back to just knowing. And it hasn't changed, has it? It's exactly the exact same thing. Ernest Holmes says that in his reading. I want to share with you from the Science of Mind text. This is in the chapter that he has on physical perfection. He says, to spirit, there can be no incurable dis-ease. Not just disease, but dis-ease. The word incurable means not susceptible to being cured. The root definition of cured is cared for. If we say that a disease is incurable, we are saying that it is not sensitive to care. As long as any cell is alive, it is sensitive to care. Which means that as long as a person is alive, the cells of the body respond to care. Naturally, they are not being cured if they are not being properly cared for. We have already learned that dis-ease is largely a state of mind, and that we could hardly say that a state of mind is incurable. We know that thought is constantly changing, forever taking on new ways of expression. It cannot possibly remain permanent. It has to change. Can we not, accordingly, change it to the better state instead of to a worse one? Or as in our earlier statement, to the same one over and over. Medicine is using the term incurable less and less frequently. For most disease in the field of medicine is being cured. Let us then free ourselves from the assumption that any disturbed state of thought need be permanent, incurable. So does it feel like we can gain our power back when we go, oh, yeah, I forgot. I forgot the power of my thought. I forgot that when I wake up it's on how I use my words. Am I using my words like, I don't like this, I don't like that, and whining? Are we using our words, this is the truth? Are we immersing ourselves in truth? And if we don't have the words, we use the words of the many great authors, the many great people that are around. There's just a ton of CDs and everything available. Are we taking the time where we immerse ourselves in truth so that it can lift us to the new space, and lift us to that high vibration, and transform our being? And can we have the faith that it is happening? I mean, waiting 10 years or 20 years is a long time, but every single minute of it, a transformation is happening. Can we have the faith that it's all unfolding perfectly, that the things that are coming to us while we are on our journey, which is what this is, because the healing space or the manifestation place is infinite, can we just know that where I am is perfectly okay and it's getting better all the time? That I am a vessel, I'm a vehicle, I am calling forth this healing. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. And sometimes we forget, especially if we get really sick. It's difficult. My daughter recommended that I take a book with me on my vacation. She was called, and some of you may have saw the movie, I understand it came out as a movie while we were gone. It's called Heaven is for Real. Maybe Oprah recommended it or something. It's a story of a little boy that had that the parents didn't know. They told the doctors they thought this is what it was, but the doctor said the blood tests weren't saying that, but he had an appendicitis attack or whatever. He needed it out. And it was making him sicker and sicker and sicker, and this was over a period of, I think, about 2 weeks, all the way where he was like in the hospital and he was having problem after problem and he was just getting weaker and weaker, and he only was like about 5 years old. And his daddy was a minister. And of course he had called the church and said, put him on the prayer list and do all this. But the boy wasn't getting better. And when he would get a little bit better, then he'd slip back into it. And they didn't discover that it was the appendix for a long time. And so what ended up happening is the church got together and they decided, we're having a prayer group. And they not just all got together and prayed, they all came to the church, 80 of them came to the church. They set aside this time and they all went into prayer to know the truth of this little boy, to just know the truth of this little boy, and to pray and to see his wholeness and see all of that. And literally, almost instantly, within an hour, he was demonstrating some of the symptoms. One of the symptoms he needed to do was pass gas. And so he was demonstrating some of those symptoms, like immediately. And then became healthier and healthier and healthier until he was finally okay. Now, that was about halfway through the book. I didn't even read the rest of the book because that was so profound for me. I just got this huge aha from it. Meaning, what I know is that he, you, me, as individuals already have within us that perfection. We already are wholeness. We already are that completeness. There's not a Santa Claus out there granting wishes. It's already within us. It's who and what we are. But if we have our attention, and when we're really sick or we have something that's really difficult, our attention is going to go towards it. It's almost like an electric cord that has most of its wires in the wrong place and only one of them really running along the truth. Meaning his attention was in this and he couldn't pull it out. But every cell, Abraham says that when we are not feeling well, every cell of our being is crying for, is calling forth from the universe wellness and wholeness and well-being. It is, we don't need to help him in the desire of needing or wanting well-being. It is rampant in this child. But he's having trouble calling it forth himself. So we put together this prayer group who knows the truth for this individual, who just sits and knows the truth. And it's almost like this power surge. It's almost like, okay, the truth is running. It's this current that's running right here and right now, the truth of this child. And everybody holds him as an object of their attention and calls it forth in them. It's almost like the assistance he needed to remember, the power he needed, almost like a satellite with a beam that's focused right on them, comes forth and the healing happens. That's powerful. And I just went, oh my gosh. How powerful are we as we hold an individual as the the focus of our attention and know the truth and know the truth and know the truth. And how can we do that for so many people that we know and that we love and that we just hold that for? Because they're calling for it. They just might need to remember. They might need a little help. So today's prayer wall of prayer Sunday with our practitioners, and that's exactly their job, to know the truth for us. That's exactly the job of the prayer box. Just put a prayer in it, call it in on the internet or whatever. As the practitioners all get together and pray to know the truth for you and line you up. You see, it's never about getting, it's always about receiving, meaning that it is always about allowing, because it's already here. Nothing is incurable, as Ernest Holmes says. He said, every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. So we put the right cause in motion, and healing and transformation and those things start unfolding, start happening for us. He goes on to say, the only thing that can deny God is ourselves. Do not think of disease as an entity, but as an impersonal thought force. It's impersonal. In healing, you are separating the false from the true. The work is definite and dynamic and is consciously done, always with a clear purpose in mind. If your thought is clear and you're able to realize the presence of Spirit, your work will be effective. And if you yourself do not withdraw that idea or neutralize it by an opposing one, the law will bring it to manifestation. It's here. And again, I just want to reiterate that if you've been trying, and there's things in my life that I've been working on for a long time, and where's my stuff? I've been working, but what I got, what I remembered, and what I want to pass on to you to remember is immerse yourself in truth. If you're trying to learn about nutrition and diet and well-being, immerse yourself in it. There's no way, like an athlete that practices and practices and practices, there's no way they're not going to get better. Immerse ourselves in that which we know. Immerse ourselves in truth, not with a fear that I have to do this versus this, but the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth, and transformation and action and abundance and wholeness and shift and change and all that you could desire lines up with you and becomes your life. In closing, I want to share with you a prayer for Marianne Williamson from the Course of Miracles. As the Course of Miracles says, a miracle is the shift of perception. All dis-ease in my life, don't present it, with all disease in my life, don't present the presence of a problem, but rather the absence of truth. All disease in my life don't represent the presence of a problem, but rather the absence of truth. I won't be deceived into the false belief that there are powers more powerful than the power of God. May my heart be so open and my soul so soft that I am a conduit for all good things. So let us, with that, just turn within. As we close our eyes to this outside world and the effect that already is created, and we move ourselves into that cause, that first cause, that is God itself. As we bring our attention and train our attention to know the truth, to speak the truth, not deny the feelings or deny the pain or deny anything that's going on, but know that there's one power and one presence, and that power and presence is God. And I am allowing and aligning with that right here and right now. In love and in gratitude, I celebrate the power that is available through each and every one of us. The power to create, the power to align, the power of love and peace and joy and wholeness and abundance. It is my life, it is your life, and I celebrate that with great gratitude right here and now. It's with a deep sense of gratitude and knowingness that I say thank you, Mother, Father, God. I know that we do not walk alone, that each and every step is guarded and guided, that we're doing it perfect. We can't do it wrong. We're doing it perfect. That the right people, the right books, the right circumstances, the right healing is unfolding is right here. And so I open as an open conduit vessel to allow it to flow unobstructedly. I remember the truth. And so it's with that I just release this word into that impress of the yes of the universe, knowing that it is done right here, right now. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4. I have a dream. I am running, don't know where I'm going. But the harder I run, the more I can see nothing has changed. I held on tight to my fear, and I screamed so someone would hear, but echoing back from deep in my lack was only more of the same. And something told me to stop, look around, and listen to the silent sound, to the breath of my soul, telling me I will lead you home. I met a woman, she loved a man who just couldn't see her. She said, if I can shake him, I can make him love me. So she begged and she pleaded till he saw all that he needed. He just couldn't share her life of despair and misery. She needed to stop, look around, and listen to the silent sound, to the breath of her soul, telling her, I will lead you home. Bob Mathis. I found a flower, it never knew it couldn't be beautiful. From seedling to bloom, it always held room to grow. Oh, so lovely, so wise, that I came to realize it grew just for me, simply to be all I needed to know. You told me to stop, look around, and listen to the silent sound, to the breath of my soul, telling me I will lead you home. Oh, we all need to stop, look around, and listen to the silent sound, to the breath of your soul, telling you I will lead you home. Oh, it's the breath of your soul telling you I will lead you
Awesome. That is Terry Wilder. Perfect. Thank you. I'll leave you whole. Absolutely. So this is the time of our service for our tithes and offerings. I'd like to call the ushers forward at this time. And you know, my favorite part about this time, where a lot of people go, oh, wow, you know, they're going to ask for money. But the truth is that I love the statement, it's all about me. And so what I love about this is that it's our opportunity for us to give our attention and be conscious and aware of the blessing that's before us. Because every ounce of abundance that is in your possession, that which has been given to you to temporarily use for only your good, only to bless your life, only to give you possibilities of creation, is just that. It is a divine gift. And so we receive this gift, and as we take this time, it gives us the opportunity to just move into gratitude, for gratitude is the same energy as abundance. And we move into gratitude, and we just give thanks for our many, many blessings. And then how sweet it is to know that we are the conduit that gets to pass this forward in the grand circulation of life, pass it forward, and that which we're passing forward blesses someone else's life. That is just great. And that's what offering means to me. It is our opportunity to give, not only even at our church, but in all times where we're circulating money. We're sending blessings forward. We're sending them forward so people's lives are blessed. In this particular case, it comes forth and it blesses the Seaside Center, which is our home. But how great it is that we have this, you know, because thousands of people walk through the door every day. And to me, individuals walking this planet in peace, walking this planet in just a sense of well-being, of truth, of empowerment, is the most important thing in my life, the wholeness of an individual. So the fact that we have this organization, it is just about that, reminding people of their wholeness and bettering lives. So we pass this forth to the Seaside Center, knowing that it does just that, and the center sends it back out into the world, and we're in this constant circulation. So I invite you to take your offering in your hand and place it next to your heart and go to that space that is God and only God, and just give gratitude for the good that is presented in your life, for the blessings that have come forth, and to be that blessed dispensary of continued blessings of all good as it goes forth. May this go forth and touch and heal lives. May it go forth and touch individuals in ways that they go forth and touch even more individuals and expand out into our world. So I give thanks for each of you, your gracious gift, for the blessings in my life and in your life, and for the good that we are collectively doing. Thank you. And thank you, God. And so it is. Let us say our affirmation together that says, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit. opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Thank you for serving. Thank you. Look at the gifts that we have to go forth and do our good. I invite you all to put your hands out forward as we bless this and just give thanks for the wonderful gifts that come forth here. Knowing that it is God in action, I know that the perfect and right unfoldment, the action, the touching, the healing, the wholeness that this represents goes forth and multiplies and prosper all who it touches, giving great thanks for this. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to thank our guest artist, Terry Wilder. Thank you for your gift. It's beautiful. She has CDs and all kinds of fun things available at her table. Go see her and support her as she gives her good out into the world. There's no greater way than to stay immersed than with music, because you can play it while you're in the car, you can play it all the way around, you can do a lot of things while you're listening to it, and those messages are just going deeper. Pick up her CD. Thank you. Thank you to our wonderful Seaside band. We have Lynn and Pat and Bob and Tom. We have Rebecca Jade today sharing with us in place of that. Thank you for your help. We have our audio and visual, Marv and Ed, on helping us. And looks like Tim is maybe holding the light or that, but we have Cliff Durfee on the camera. Thank you. We have David Kennedy holding the light. I had Sharon DeLeon as the pulpit assistant. And most importantly, we have all of you. I just can't thank you enough for being willing to do the work, to do the practice for us collectively to go out and really make a difference in the world. So thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing this path with me today. I appreciate it. One thing that we're not supposed to make announcements today, but there's something really exciting that's happening. This is the first time in like 9 years, and it only happened once before then. We have had a bookstore since we entered in here in 2001, so for 13 years. And the last 9 years, we have it divided up by team members that help work and do the register and do the schedules and those kinds of things. But then we have a book buyer and we have a gift buyer. Actually, we have 2 gift buyers. So our gift buyers have been there for 9 years, and they're ready to pass the torch. And so this is a position that's opened up, and it probably, first of all, it's probably one of the most powerful positions, powerful ministry heads that there is, because when people go to the bookstore, they take their books home, they take their spiritual gifts and everything so that they set up their house and their home to live to go deeper. I mean, they can come to class and they can come to church, but at your home, to have your books and to have your stuff is really a powerful way to allow people to go deeper spiritually. So buying the gifts, they go to the LA Gift Mart about 3 times a year. So what's involved in it is going to the gift mart, and you have to buy all that cool stuff at wholesale, and you get to have some of it too, and get to see all the cool stuff. You get to supply the whole bookstore with that. We have a policy at the bookstore that we like things to be extremely reasonable, so everybody can have some, and it's just a really fun position. Well, they're going to the LA Gift Mart on July 20th, and we'd love to find their replacements. They're going to be here for the rest of the year to help train somebody to be able to buy and price and merchandise and that. It is a volunteer position, and they're wanting to talk to those that think they might be interested in it. It's even good if we maybe have 2 people that are interested in it to team it. Like I said, it's the first time in 9 years that this has become available. So if doing something like that, sharing your gift that way and giving that way and buying and enhancing people's spiritual lives through gifts and books and stuff is something that sounds of interest to you, see Kay Samuelson's in the back there now, or Barbara King. They'll tell you all the details and more about it and the hours that are involved. It's usually a couple hours a week, and on the buying times it's a little bit more. But anybody that's interested, go see them, because it's a fun thing. It'll be neat to have some new creation in there. So go see that. So that's my announcement. But I see some really cool trees. Those are so cool. Who wants to tell me about those? You do? Okay. Go ahead. I don't have a mic.
I didn't build one, but I think you
Growing Life. What do you have to say about it?
It's about balancing.
Balancing. Nice. Okay. What do you have to say about it? Nice, because life is balanced. Good job, you guys. Those are cool. Those are cool. Neat. All right, so today, as I mentioned earlier, is the wall of prayer. It's your opportunity for somebody to know the truth for you. I'd like to call the practitioners forward at this time as we line up here. So you just come forth. They ask the question simply, what do you want? And they'll know that truth for you in line with it. So I invite you to come up and take advantage of somebody. As it is said that one in alignment with Source is more powerful than thousands that are not. So please have them line up with your truth for you as you know that. We will sing our release song, our affirmation, our grace song, and then they'll be available for you. But right now, why don't we just close this service by one more time going within and recognizing that power and presence that is God, that is my life right here and right now. I open fully unto it. I'm available for more good than I could ever imagine. I am that conduit. My heart is open, my soul is soft, and I accept everything that is present. With this, I say thank you, Mother, Father, God, and so it is. Thank you, honey.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free.
Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, only here. Sing it, Seaside. So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
And our affirmation for today is, I now release anything in the way of my good. Together. I now release anything in the way of my good. One more time. I now release anything in the way of my good. And the grace song.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor our truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves